This story was sent to me by Adrian Thomas, and as you can see right here on your screen, that is the MLB or the Major League Baseball logo. Now, we know when it comes to baseball, the drug enhancements that have been used over the years usually always go back to steroid usage, so the people can perform better at a higher rate. Two of the most notorious ones that people always talked about was Barry Bonds and Jose Canseco. Now, Jose Canseco ended up dying a few years ago from his years of steroid usage. I remember I saw one interview of him, and you can look in his eyes, and they look like they were about to burst because of severe steroid usage. Even when he was retired and he stopped using them, it took a toll on his body. But that's not the drug we're going to be talking about today. According to this article coming from the Wall Street Journal, the Major League Baseball organization is now closing in on a new opioid policy. Basically, what they're also going to test players for now is opioid usage, specifically fentanyl and oxycodone. This should be very interesting. And I think one reason why they're doing this is because I think, if I'm not mistaken, when I pulled up the picture, when I typed MLB opioids in the search bar, it kept pulling up a picture of this former Angels player. I forgot his name. I think his last name was Skaggs or something like that. And I think they said he died from an opioid overdose. So now they're about to crack down on that. Now, we know when it comes to baseball, who the majority is that plays in that game is mainly palm-colored men as well as Latino men. But we know who uses it in heavy rotation. But could you imagine if they was to take fentanyl or any type of opioid before playing in these games? But anyway, let me go ahead and get into this article. Following the opioid related deaths of Los Angeles Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs, that's who I was talking about, Major League Baseball is revisiting its response to a plague that has swept the nation. The league and its players' union are negotiating changes to their collectively bargained drug policy that would, for the first time, include random testing of all players for opioids like oxycodone and fentanyl. The two sides hope to reach an agreement before the end of the year. Professional athletes who are especially prone to injury risk greater exposure and addiction to opioids due to pain management. The discussions between the league and its players' union were prompted by the death of Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs, who had oxycodone, fentanyl, and alcohol in his system. Sorry if I keep pausing throughout the videos, because on the Wall Street Journal website, you have to have a subscription to continue reading the actual thing. Then I had to pause and then find another article, and it seems to me they only went so far with it as well. But you know what? I'll take it for what they're saying right here, and I can just go from there. But something told me it did have something to do with that player who died over a few months ago, from opioid usage. And you know what? It's interesting because they're tackling it right now because they know. See, I keep telling you, they know how bad this thing is. They know about it. A lot of them just don't want to talk about it because they know who it's affecting. And yes, that Tyler Skaggs pitcher who played for the Los Angeles Angels, he was a palm-colored man. One of the few usual suspects that was using this drug. And now they want to tackle it. It makes you wonder, if it was a black player that was using it, would they have tackled it that soon? Or would they deal with it? Or would they just let it drag on out? Because like I said, them sports enhancers, the steroids, which was a sports enhancer, that's what they quote unquote called it, to not call it a steroid. But that's basically what it was sweeping the MLB at one point. I believe they're still using it, but probably in moderation. But when it comes to that opioid, even if you use it in even the most minor moderation, it's a wrap. And this guy overdosed, so that means he used a lot of it. But yeah, opioids is now climbing into major sports now. I won't be surprised if they creep over into the NBA or the NFL. But all it would take is just one person, and that's it as far as they're concerned. This is going to be a very interesting season coming up, to see who gets tested and if they pass or if they fail the test. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of them that are going to are hoping that they fail the test. But the thing is, when it comes to drugs, that stuff, no matter how little you've used it, depending on what it is, it stays in your system for quite some time. That's just like people who smoke weed. If you smoke weed like every day for a good week, that stuff will stay in your system for like at least a good 2 weeks. Depending on what level of weed you have, of course. If them THC levels are extremely high, it'll last a while. Because you can do a random drug test, and that's probably how they're going to get them. Because, they won't tell them when they're going to do it, because then you'll have some people that's going to try to switch their urine with somebody else, because, they're onto those tricks. And they'll get caught. But hey, it is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.